How to become untouchable through emotional detachment fears a level of psychological invincibility that most people never discover. It's the ability to move through life completely unaffected by others' opinions, manipulations, or emotional attacks. This isn't about being cold or uncaring. It's about developing such strong emotional boundaries that nothing external can disturb your inner peace or derail your goals. This is the power of emotional detachment, and it's the secret weapon of every truly powerful person. Today, we're going to explore how emotional detachment makes you untouchable, why most people remain emotionally vulnerable their entire lives, and how to develop the psychological armor that protects you from every form of emotional manipulation and control. The nature of emotional attachment: most people live their lives emotionally attached to outcomes, opinions, and external validation. They need others to approve of their choices, agree with their views, and validate their worth. This attachment makes them vulnerable to manipulation, control, and psychological attacks. When you're emotionally attached to how others see you, their disapproval becomes a weapon they can use against you. When you need specific outcomes to feel good about yourself, those outcomes can be withheld to control your behavior. When you require external validation to feel worthy, that validation can be weaponized by anyone who recognizes your need. Emotional detachment is the opposite. It's the ability to want things without needing them, to prefer certain outcomes without being devastated if they don't occur, and to value others' opinions without requiring their approval. The psychology of invulnerability: you become truly emotionally detached. You develop what psychologists call psychological invulnerability. This doesn't mean you can't be hurt. It means you can't be controlled through emotional manipulation. The person who doesn't need your approval can't be manipulated through praise or criticism. The person who isn't attached to specific outcomes can't be controlled through threats or bribes. The person who finds their worth internally can't be diminished by external attacks. This invulnerability comes from understanding a fundamental truth: other people's behavior and opinions are about them, not about you. When someone criticizes, attacks, or tries to manipulate you, they're revealing their own psychological state, not making accurate assessments of your character or worth. Developing internal validation: foundation of emotional detachment is developing internal validation systems that don't depend on external feedback. This means finding your sense of worth, purpose, and direction from within rather than from others' responses to you. Internal validation comes from living according to your values rather than others' expectations, measuring success by your own standards rather than external metrics, and finding meaning in your personal growth and contribution rather than in recognition or praise. This doesn't happen overnight. It requires consciously shifting from external to internal. Reference points whenever you notice yourself seeking validation or approval from others. The power of outcome. Independency of the most powerful aspects of emotional detachment is outcome independence, the ability to work toward goals without being emotionally dependent on achieving them. This paradoxical approach often leads to better results because you're operating from clarity rather than desperation. When you're not emotionally attached to outcomes, you make better decisions because you're not clouded by fear of failure or desperate need for success. You can evaluate options objectively, take calculated risks, and pivot when necessary without ego getting in the way. Outcome independence also makes you more attractive to others because you're not needy or desperate. People are drawn to those who seem complete and self-sufficient rather than those who obviously need things from them. Strategic emotional distance. Emotional detachment doesn't mean being emotionally dead or uncaring. It means being strategic about where you invest your emotional energy and maintaining healthy distance from toxic people and situations. This involves setting clear boundaries about what behaviors you will and won't tolerate, limiting your exposure to people who consistently drain your energy or try to manipulate you, and refusing to engage emotionally with situations you can't control or change. Strategic emotional distance protects your psychological resources so you can invest them in relationships and goals that actually serve your well-being and growth. Reading emotional manipulation. 1. You develop emotional detachment. You become much better at recognizing when others are trying to manipulate you emotionally. Common manipulation tactics include guilt trips, emotional blackmail, playing victim, creating artificial urgency, and using your caring nature against you. Emotionally detached people can observe these tactics objectively. Without being drawn into the emotional drama, they can respond to the facts of a situation without being controlled by the emotions someone else is trying to create. This objectivity allows you to help others more effectively because you're responding to their actual needs rather than being manipulated by their emotional performances. Professional applications in professional settings. Emotional detachment is incredibly valuable for leadership, negotiation, and decision-making. When you're not emotionally invested in being liked or avoiding conflict, you can make difficult decisions that serve the organization's needs. Emotional detachment also protects you from workplace politics and interpersonal drama. You can focus on results and professional relationships without getting caught up in office gossip, power struggles, or emotional manipulation. Leaders who demonstrate emotional detachment often inspire more confidence because they appear stable, objective, and focused on solutions rather than problems or personal agendas. Relationship dynamics in personal relationships. Emotional detachment can seem contradictory, but it actually enables healthier connections. When you don't need someone else to complete you or validate your worth, you can love them freely without possessiveness or codependency. Emotional detachment allows you to set healthy boundaries, communicate honestly without fear of rejection, and maintain your individual identity within relationships. This doesn't mean being distant or uncaring. It means caring without clinging, loving without losing yourself, and supporting others without sacrificing your own well-being. The paradox of caring without attachment. Highest level of emotional detachment involves caring deeply about people and causes, while remaining unattached to specific outcomes. This allows you to give your best effort and genuine care without being devastated if things don't go as planned. This paradoxical approach often leads to better results because you're acting from love and wisdom rather than fear and need. People can sense the difference and respond more positively to genuine care than to neediness or attachment. social situation master emotionally. Detached people navigate social situations with ease because they're not constantly monitoring others' reactions or seeking approval. They can be authentic without worrying about judgment, engage genuinely without fear of rejection, and maintain their composure regardless of social dynamics. This authenticity and confidence make them naturally attractive to others who appreciate genuine, self-possessed individuals over those who seem to need validation or approval. Building emotional resilience. Detachment builds remarkable resilience against life's inevitable challenges and disappointments. When you're not emotionally attached to things going a certain way, you can adapt more easily to changing circumstances. This resilience comes from understanding that your emotional state is your choice and responsibility, not dependent on external circumstances or other people's behavior. Developing this resilience requires practice in maintaining your emotional equilibrium regardless of what's happening around you. The long-term benefits over time. Emotional detachment creates numerous benefits in your life. You waste less energy on things you can't control. Make better decisions because you're not clouded by emotional needs. Attract higher quality relationships because you're not needy or manipulative. And develop genuine confidence that doesn't depend on external validation. Most importantly, you become truly free. Free from the need to control others or be controlled by them. Free from the exhausting cycle of seeking approval and avoiding disapproval. And free to focus your energy on what actually matters to you. The ultimate liberation. Master emotional detachment. And you'll discover a level of psychological freedom that most people never experience. You'll move through life untouchable by manipulation, unmoved by drama, and unshaken by others' attempts to control or diminish you. This isn't about becoming cold or disconnected. It's about becoming so emotionally secure and self-contained that you can engage with the world from a place of strength rather than need, love rather than attachment, and wisdom rather than reactivity. True power comes not from controlling others, but from being so emotionally free that no one can control you.